to the 8th floor. It was the top floor. Come up to the 8th floor. And he goes, okay. So he comes up to the 8th floor. And we go into the stairwell. And I said, let's go up to the roof. He's like, what? I said, let's go up to the roof. He goes, I don't think I want to go up to the roof. I said, yeah, come on, let's go. He said, I'm uncomfortable going up to the roof. And I said, why?
You think I'm gonna throw you off the roof?
Come on, let's go. We'll talk up there.
It's a nice day.
He goes, I don't want to go to the roof. I said,
Get up on the fucking roof.
he said, you're scaring me.
I said, and you're pissing me off.
Get up on the roof. I don't think I like this. I don't like it. I don't like it. I go, what's your problem?
I thought we're friends.
You told me last time you were my brother.
What do you think I'm gonna do to you up there?
I don't want to go up there. I go, get up on the roof. So one step at a time, he gets up to the roof. I said, now stay here for 5 minutes and meet me in room 515. 5 minutes later, he knocks on 515. I said, come in. He comes in. I come out of the bathroom. I
Tackle him?
Our liaison partners and our security guys bust in from the side room. I have him pinned down. And he's like, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
And he says, I'll fucking kill you.
So he calls me. He said, I'm here. I said, come up.
Interesting story. We have a pretty funny guy. I don't know if you know who this guy is that I'm going to be showing you, but he is pretty funny. He is a former CIA intelligence operative. And lately he has just been, like, whistleblowing the most crazy fucking stories about the CIA, and it's just the funniest shit ever. Shorts here.
You would always throw an extra question in at the end, open-ended. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think is important? 99% of the people say no. Some people say, what do you mean? He said, well, to this janitor, things like murder, rape, robbery, bestiality, and the guy says, what was that last one? And my friend says, I knew I had him. He goes, bestiality. The guy says, what's that mean? And my friend says, it's actually very common, he says.
Everybody does it.
It's having sex with an animal. And the guy says, I may have done that couple, 3 times.
And my friend says,
Okay, well, like I said, everybody does it, but just so we can get past it for the purpose of the polygraph, in what cases would you have sex with an animal? The guy says, well, sometimes when I have a fight with my wife,
To get back at her, I go to the barn and I bugger the horse.
because it's her horse.
he said he gets up on a step stool and he gets the horse. And he's like, okay.
And you've done this more than once?
He said, I may have done it couple, 3 times.
What?
That's
So
what I'm
he
saying.
said
Some of
needless
these
to say,
stories
they
are
escorted him
insane.
Out of headquarters and took his badge and said, don't ever come back. Yeah, anymore. He would always throw an extra. The counterterrorism center came up to me and said, very offhandedly, hey, I'm so glad I ran into you. I meant to ask, do you want to be certified in the use of enhanced interrogation techniques? And I had never heard that term before. I said, what's that mean? He goes,
We're gonna start getting rough with these guys.
and I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, we're going to do, and he listed these 10 techniques,
Waterboarding and sleep deprivation. And
smack in the face and all these different kinds of things.
I said, that sounds like a torture program to me.
And he goes,
No, it's not torture.
and I said, hey, I just got approached and asked if I wanted to be certified in these enhanced interrogation techniques. What do you think of that? And he said, first of all, let's call a spade a spade.
This is a torture program.
That were never authorized by the Justice Department or by the president. You can't force,
Hummus up someone's rectum.
for example, right? You can't play,
Russian roulette with them.
you can't, they learned Abu Zubaydah had an irrational fear of insects. And so they put him in a coffin
And they dumped a box of cockroaches in there with him.
and then closed the coffin.
And they left him in there for 10 days just with a diaper.
The counterterrorism center came up to me and said,
Just exposing the most crazy shit. Like, I won't be surprised if this guy's gonna be dead within the next month, honestly.
I mean, he's not technically the only CIA person. There's another guy with long hair and has a wife as well that was part of the program. There's like a couple. I'm trying to think what they're called. In fact, I'll see if I find.
Can you say what he did to trigger the meeting? I asked him if he had access to a target. And he said, not today.
But I could fuck her if I wanted to.
I said, get out of here. He goes, she's been flirting with me for 40 years. I said, well, she has something that I want. Can you get close enough to her to get it? And he said, yeah. I said, then get it. So he triggered the meeting to say,
He fucked her, and she gave him everything that I had asked for, and he wanted to give it to me.
I said, you're a dog, you know that? You're like an animal. I said, you're an old man. You're older than my father, I told him. And you're...
Banging women to get information from them? He's like, this is the life we've chosen for ourselves. I said, okay, alright.
Crazy
No
work.
need to get dramatic.
I freaking love this guy. I love him. I Googled him a few years ago, and he died.
Oh, well, okay. Jesus Christ.
He died about 10 years ago. I was sorry to see, but he was a genuinely good guy.
Sounded like a great lad.
So the other guy I was talking about, his name is Andrew
Okay. I got it.
Bustamante.
My children asked me that, and I told them very proudly that I have never taken any action that resulted in the death of another human being.
There's one kind of half exception.
This one's hilarious.
I think
Everyone
about this
loves
all the
this
time.
story.
In 1993, I guess it was, I was sitting in the morning meeting. I told you earlier that every unit meets every day at 9 o'clock, and you just talk about what happened in the country that you cover overnight. I was in the morning meeting, and the secretary came in, and she said, John, General Powell is on the phone for you. Call him Powell. I said, General Powell? How does he know who I am? And
He said, I don't know, but he asked for you by name.
my boss is like, well, go answer the phone. So I went to my desk, and I said, good morning, General Powell. This is John Kiriakou. And he says,
John, if the Iraqis were going to kill the president, who would actually be in charge of that operation?
and I said, well, if you're talking about the attempt to kill President Bush, George H.W. Bush, he had been visiting Kuwait. I said, Kuwait operations are run from the Iraqi intelligence service's Basra station. But Basra station is headed by Sabr Abdulaziz Adori, the director of the Iraqi intelligence service.
He says, where does he sit?
I said, Baghdad.
Where exactly in Baghdad?
I said, if you hold on a second, I'll look up the address. So I looked it up. I gave him the address. He
He
said,
says, thank you. And he hangs up the phone.
I go back in the meeting. They were like, what do you want? I said, he wanted to know about Sabr Adori and the attempt to kill President Bush. I'm like, okay.
8 hours later, we fired 47 cruise missiles into Iraqi intelligence.
Just
But by then it was the middle of the night in Baghdad.
And we killed the janitor.
You have killed him.
the only person they killed. 47 cruise missiles. Is the janitor. It's just, I know it's kind of sad, but it's just hilarious to think. So where do you think he would live? Oh, okay. We'll send 47 missiles to that place. No hesitation.
Thank you, Sent.
Dude, his 9/11 story is fantastic.
I go down to his office, and he closes the door. And he says, listen, I'm not really a professor here.
I'm a CIA officer undercover as a professor here.
And I'm here to find people who would fit into the CIA's culture. I think you would fit into the CIA's culture. Would you like to join the CIA? The truth is, I had played with the idea a couple of times over the years, but I had never given it serious thought. But I was getting married in 6 weeks, and I didn't have any job. I didn't have any hope for a job, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
So I said,
Sure. Why not?
I go down to his office, and he
Just
closed.
join the CIA on a whim.
Well, the thing is, I bet you that CIA agent knew that he was also down on his luck at that time because it's part of his job to know everything that he's going to do or about their possible prospect.
Don't want that one. That one's not funny.
You haven't killed anybody? No, thank God.
Yeah, the Russians are very good with sleeper agents. We Americans don't have no other country that we know of uses sleeper agents. A sleeper agent is
I guess I could show you my liked. That would probably be good.
rented a safe house, and they hired prostitutes to go out on the street, pick up Johns, bring them back to the safe house. Johns, people who hire prostitutes, men who hire prostitutes. Dose the Johns with
LSD.
And just see what happens.
But, I mean, these are like serious crimes you're committing against people. Just rented a safe house, and
Just see what happens.
Go with the flow. We're working on a
get home
formula
from a
for
day where-
Diddy's baby oil.
Yeah.
or, you know, I broke into some guy's house and planted a camera on a bug, and I'd get home and she'd say, how's your day? I'd say, great. What'd you do? Not a darn thing. And then my phone would ring at, midnight, and a guy would say,
The rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain.
and I'd say, mares eat oats and does eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. And that means, meet me at the yacht club parking lot in 3 hours. And then I'd leave. She would say, where are you going? It's midnight.
I gotta work.
So I'd leave, I'd do my meeting, I'd come home, 6 o'clock in the morning, just in time to shower and shave and get dressed to go to work. And she would say,
What was her name?
and I remember this one terrible time. That's what she said to me. What was her name? The truth is,
I had been sitting in a garbage dumpster, waiting for a guy to drive by down the alley and throw a bag of documents in. And I stunk.
of garbage. And I said to her,
Do I seriously smell to you like I've been with a woman? Seriously.
so we ended up getting a divorce. I get home from a day where, I
Crazy.
Said, everybody evacuate right now. Everybody evacuate.
Nobody budged.
The rest of us are just standing there. And then finally, a guy said to me, a guy I was standing next to, he said,
There's still a plane in the air.
and
I think we should probably assume that it's coming here.
so my girlfriend, who later became my wife, she was also a senior CIA officer. She met me at my apartment, and we went to the roof, and
Watched the Pentagon burn for an hour.
I said to her, this is ridiculous.
We have to go back to work.
So I walked back to my car, drove across the grassy median, drove back to the CIA, and then
I didn't leave for 4 days. I just balled up my jacket and I slept under my desk.
and he came in and he said, everybody
I walked over to Kofer's office to say, the driver's here. And his secretary had a little TV on her desk. Back in those days, you couldn't watch TV on your computer, right? So she had this little tiny TV. And one of the towers of the World Trade Center was on fire. I said, what happened to the World Trade Center?
And she said a plane flew into it.
And I always say, because I'm a genius, I said, you know what? That happened once before. In 1931, a plane flew into the Empire State Building, but it was really foggy and pouring down rain. I said, it's so crystal clear today. How can you not see that you're flying into the World Trade Center?
And as soon as the words came out of my mouth, the second plane hit.
And she turns to me and she said,
Did you see that? Or did I imagine it?
and I ran back to my office and I said, guys, 2 planes just flew into both towers of the World Trade Center. I think we're under attack. I think this is what Kofer was talking about. So we all run into what was then called the bullpen. The main office back then of the Counterterrorism Center was this enormous room where there were private offices all around the perimeter of the room. And then everybody else sat in cubicles. Well, there were so many cubicles that we had to name the pathways. So it was like,
Bin Laden Boulevard, Hezbollah Highway.
right? We named one after George Tenet and one after a previous head of counterterrorism. So you could say, if you're meeting somebody, I'm at the intersection of Winston Wiley Way and Hezbollah Highway. Then they would know where to find you. I walked over to Kofer's office to say, are hitmen real? Yes. At the National Security Council, there is a committee that meets every Tuesday morning
At 9 o'clock to drop something called the kill list.
They sit around a table and they make a list of all the people that they want to kill that week.
And then they take it back to the CIA, which has a dedicated unit.
I won't tell you the name, but it has a dedicated unit that takes receipt of the list. They say, okay, number 1. They drive to the airport, they get on the
They
plane,
really
they go out to that
killed this with
country,
the
they kill the
volume of
person, they
music.
come back, and
Yeah,
then
I know.
They go to number 2 on the list. That happens every single week.
now we can have a conversation about whether that's right or whether it's wrong.
It's certainly immoral. It's illegal, but it's been tasked by the president. At the same time, they will tell you, there hasn't been another 9/11, has there? Are hitmen real? Yes.
Interesting.
Especially